Well, it's another Thursday night, 7:35. Welcome to the Paper Chase channel and the Into the Void podcast with my PNC, partner in crime, partner in comics, actually, Reverend Wormwood. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. And you might as well just jump right into what you were talking about because I want to.
So I was like, okay, yeah. So we were having a conversation real quick before we went live. I was like, look, I said we're both two different types of collectors here, and I was like, I had made a little slide about a certain type of collector that I don't know if I coined this phrase or not, but I call it closet collecting. And these are people that pretty much just, they don't like to market or put up front that they collect comics. They kind of do it on the down low, right? For whatever reason. Could be a guilty pleasure, could be because, F you, it's my business, I do what I want. And so I was like, can I put up this slide? Is it gonna make you feel any kind of way or anything? And I was like, and that's it. And that's it. And we're gonna get to that, but there's nothing wrong with that. Real quick, if you're just tuning in, if you clicked on this for the thumbnail to get some how-tos, some tips, to pick our brains, feel free to scrub through this podcast because this is a podcast. Some people might be clicking on this thinking, hey, this is a step-by-step process. This is a podcast, and we're going to talk about various things in our collecting habits as the night goes on. First, we're going to cover a couple of hot topics and news that are just kind of interesting and fun. But feel free to scrub through the whole thing. And then always, of course, we want to remind you before we get started here, please give us a little shout out to the YouTube community. Hit the like button. This lets everybody know that we're getting started, and we'll invite more people to the chat, which makes it more fun because more people talking in one room is always a better time. So
yeah, bring the friends.
Yeah, bring your friends. Tell your friends. So. Okay, Rev, first I want to know how you're doing because I haven't really talked to you much all week.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, so like super busy. I got kind of a new business venture that's going on right now, and it's finally kicking into gear. Kind of low key about what it is, but it's going to be really exciting. And it's going to happen like the next 2 weeks or so. And it's just been kind of kicking my ass. I've been busy all this week, and super busy. I haven't, I just told you beforehand, with comics and things like that. I didn't even go to any of the comic book shops today to get, my one comic book shop, to get my comics for the week. I've just been that busy. Kind of sucks, but kind of cool,
It's okay. It's part of life, right? Part of life.
I guess
it happens.
I guess.
As much as we love comics, comics are not life. They come secondary to life, unless it's what you do for a living, which neither of us do. So, I don't do it.
I don't do it. You would if you could. But you would if you could.
I would not.
No,
I would not do it. No. Why? I don't know. I'm one of those people that feel like once it becomes a job, you lose a little bit of magic, right?
Well, hey, if you love what you do, then you never work a day in your life.
I don't know. That's a gray area. Rob Fanguy says I have a part in my collection in a closet. Yeah. Rob Fanguy, what is up, buddy? And he absolutely does. Rob Fanguy, I actually purchased a collection from in the past, and we'll probably touch on it at some point tonight. But one of the best collections I've purchased in the past year was definitely from him, and it's an amazing one.
Had to be DC. Absolutely. Tell me it was all DC, wasn't it?
And it was not all DC, but I want to thank Rob for, laying down the groundwork, right? Because that's the thing about these collections. No, like people spend their lives and their years building these collections, and their time and stuff. And then at a drop of a dime, it can transfer hands to somebody else. So I feel like that's something I would like to try to do in the future is maybe make a social media platform that goes to the legacy of comic collecting, because these are things that are created by other people and all they do is transfer owners, right? They're going to, a lot of these comic books are going to exist way past any of us. We're just a stopping point.
Yes,
right?
and yes. I mean, so like, yeah. Is there a person? Is there like a comic book owner out there that reads the comic books and just like shreds them up immediately? He's like, no one else gets these books. He just reads them and drops
Highly
them right
unlikely.
into the shredder. Like, but I mean, like, but when I first started collecting comic books, again, okay,
Yeah.
so my big story that I tell everybody when I tell them I read comics is like, my brother and I had both had Amazing Spider-Man 298, 299, 300, and 301. We were both Todd McFarlane fans, and we got all four of those books. I had to count my head. All four of those books. And like when they came out. But I remember 298, if I'm not mistaken, had the guy with the little jetpack shooting Chance or whatever his name
Yeah.
was. And
Mhm.
man, I used to read that taking a bath. I was like, what? Was it
Right.
91, 89, 88? Something like that. I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
I'm taking a
Yeah.
bath. The book's all folded back and shit. And you know what
Yep.
happens when you take a bath? You fall asleep.
Yep.
I remember falling
Yep.
asleep with the bath right in the water, and
Yep.
then I
Hmm.
remember 300 doing that, like I had
Yeah.
300 rolled backwards, fucking dropping it, like in the warm water, and
Amazing.
fuck, I didn't give a shit,
Dude.
like that's what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Draw mustaches with
Yeah.
Mary Jane
Right.
or nipples. I mean,
Absolutely.
scumbag, you know.
Real quick, let's give some love to the chat. Let's see who's in here tonight.
What's up?
Fingers and toes. Heyo has not missed a cast. Is it a cast or is it a pod? It's a pod.
We
We're
have
casting
cast
it.
pod, yes, as
Yeah,
you said.
he has not missed a pod yet. Figures and toes. So thank you, as well as Intense Ewok, brother man. Thank you, appreciate you for always showing up. Rob Fan Guy, always appreciate you. Emily Fallon, I don't how do you say that last name? Falanga?
You got to say it. You got to say it. Go ahead.
Falanga. I'm gonna
Okay.
take a shot in the dark. Falanga.
Are you
Correct
not
me if I'm
Italian
wrong,
at all?
Emily.
Do you have any Italian in you, John?
I do.
A fucking
Never
shame
met him.
on you then. What was it? Oh.
Falanya.
Yeah.
Falanya.
I also think you're saying
that?
Rob's last name incorrectly. I could be wrong.
Rob
Rob, can you
Fan
phonetically
Guy?
hit us? I think you're doing it. Rob, can you phonetically hit us up, man? Let us know what's going on. I think
Rob,
I think
that's
you're doing
his.
it wrong.
I don't think that's his real last name.
Watch if it goes like
Fan
what if
Guy?
it, what if he says it like Fangy?
Fangy. I don't think
What if
that's
it's
his real
Fangy?
last name.
And you just
I
think
doubt
he's
it.
like you think it's Fan Guy? Like he's like the
I think it's a fake name for
you,
social media.
oh fuck you, John! Look at that right there.
What? I can't see it. Why is my chat delayed?
Says Fangy, bro. Fangy.
He's joking. He's
No, he's not. That's it. That's it. It's
All right, I believe
Fangy.
I believe you.
All right, so
Okay. Anyway, yeah, moving on. Thank you guys for showing up. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank
Real quick, before we move into the hot topic of tonight, which again is just about kind of comic book collecting and how to collect in different facets in different ways. There's been a couple of big changes in one of the greatest empires of the world, Disney.
oh wow.
Did you hear about?
Oh,
did you hear
oh.
about this?
No, I saw. Okay, the only thing I saw, and first of all, like I still haven't finished last week's Mandalorian.
Yeah, I won't spoil it for you.
So far, I'm kind of like, all right, I just get to follow this guy around while he eats weird ice cream and like hits on this like amazing looking woman. So I haven't watched that, but I did see that there's somebody maybe fired at Marvel, a higher up person.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, hit me with it. Drop the knowledge, brother.
So here we go. It's not, well, it's pretty, at this point, it's almost common knowledge. People have covered the shit out of this story already, but I figured, hey, let's just share our piece on it and talk about it. So Victoria Alonso, this is not a household name by any means. This is somebody who was recently, quote unquote, fired, let go from Disney. But I think it could be, and I think a lot of people might agree, I think it could be the turning point for the, I don't know, subpar content that Disney's been releasing over the past year and a half to 2 years.
You're not talking about Marvel,
This-
Marvel Girl, are you?
Absolutely. Yeah. 100% Marvel. 100%. And Nickelodeon Jr., I don't know if you've watched Nickelodeon Jr. later. It's going by the wayside. No, but so Victoria Alonso is basically one of the biggest presidents in Disney.
Really?
She oversees a lot of post production and VFX. So she's been let go. She's been with the company for I want to say 20 something years.
But what
So
does that mean? What does that mean? Would you
so
give
what
me
that
the weight of her? Because you said post production and you said VFX.
VFX, so visual effects. So basically,
Oh,
when a movie is released, right, and it seems like it's been freaking pieced together on a last minute, in a cutting room, somebody just
oh,
kind of pieced it together. Like the VFX aren't done. Like a storyline was going to go someplace, and all of a sudden they just drop off on a character and not complete a story arc. Stuff like that. That's all post production issues, because a story is told three ways. It's told when it's written, it's told when it's filmed, and then it's told when it's edited as well, right?
hmm.
She's got basically a large overseeing the post production. So basically what was going on is this woman was blacklisting a lot of people in the VFX department. And so basically you pissed her off. She's like, I'm done with you. You're not working on movie
Shit.
X. Yeah,
Okay.
she's like freaking dropping heads left and right, and just making a lot of poor decisions post production. So like when people are complaining about She-Hulk and things like that, the VFX on She-Hulk, the kind of randomness of the storyline of She-Hulk, all that stuff is kind of draws back to her, and she was let go. So this is just a big step forward for, I think Marvel and Disney as a whole, as far as the storytelling goes, because this woman was no good, you know?
Well, why? Okay, so what makes it better? So did they fire her and now they've hired somebody else that's amazing? Because if I'm not wrong, didn't they like
Yeah.
fire Bob Iger and get somebody
Mm.
else, but now they're letting
No,
or
they fired
hire Bob
Bob
Iger? Yeah,
Chapek.
yeah.
Like, oh, yeah, Chapek was gone, and then Iger came in to take his place.
But
But
Iger
these
was
are big
already there,
changes. Iger was there pre-COVID
and then he got
and all
fired, or he
that.
just quit.
No, he quit. He quit.
Okay,
Was not fired.
all right.
So basically, this is a big move that is going to be for the better for all of the MCU and in Disney in general. Even Star Wars. This woman here is also infamously known on record for stating that X-Men is not a progressive team name, and they should probably be called something more like X-People.
I like how you keep saying this woman. By the way, you're saying it in a certain way. You're like this woman.
Like this fucking woman here.
You're
This
like
motherfucker
Jack
here.
Nicholson as the Joker in Batman when he's like, "You set me up over a woman." He's like, "Oh, woman." That's like you. You're like
Yeah.
this woman
Yeah.
here.
No, she's gross to me. She's disgusting. She represents a lot of what's wrong with a lot of media content, and I'm glad that I'm glad that money talks, and when Disney knows that, hey, we are bleeding money here, heads are gonna roll, and I'm glad that they axed her. Which, that's it.
If
Bottom
you
line.
owned a burger restaurant and she came into your burger restaurant and she ordered a burger,
Yeah.
would you spit on it? Would you spit on it? Would you spit on it?
No, because
I
I'm
don't
not a
know.
vicious person. I'm not a vicious
I don't
person. I
know.
just don't want her to. I just don't want her in any part of the creative process. That's all. I'm like a spit in her food.
I don't know. It sounds like you might. This woman. What?
So,
So
but
real
yeah,
quick
what you got?
though, the
Yeah,
X-Men thing. I've thought about
yeah,
this. I've thought about this
yeah.
both sober and also drunk. And I
What you
come to
think?
the conclusion that it's X-Men. What the fuck, dude? Well, so like, I don't know if you're reading the
Okay.
current run of X-Men because you're a cover collector, but
Nope. I know I'm
um
not a cover collector, but go ahead.
currently the X-Men talk about this all the time. There's always like one person who's kind of like, well, why are we called the X-Men? And it's brought up every now and then. And
Yeah.
then they always explain it like it's the idea of what we are. It's an
Right.
all-inclusive thing. They're not like we're not men,
Right. No.
it doesn't honestly like I don't even think of X-Men like, oh, like how fucking nerdy is it and how like 50s and 60s when you're kind of like, oh, X-Men, like X just men, X-Men,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
you're not no spoilers, walk. You're not thinking that like, oh, this is a bunch of X-Men. I'm not thinking that shit at all. I'm just kind of like, there's just a
No.
group of people, and X-Men's always just been cool. The
Sure.
men part doesn't even exist. It's just a logo I see. You know,
It's not even that. So if you look at all the words that describe the human species, you have man, woman, right?
oh, look at you.
Human. No, I'm just saying, like,
Human.
there's an actual, yeah, human, whatever, X-Men, human. X-Men is the most inclusive group in all of comics. It's literally targeted towards outcast, is it not?
And not only that, and the chat can probably attest to this, is that like the X-Men actually, like you said, is absolutely the most inclusive cast as far as like anybody. X-Men is
Yeah,
actually currently reading the book. It's in a good spot right now, but when they're not fighting, it's who are they dating and how their feelings are. Everybody has feelings, and they're walking around New
sure,
York and like I don't know if I'm gay, or I don't know if I'm straight, or I'm dating this
right,
girl and I'm married to her and I'm a woman. And you know what? It reads in the book, and you just don't care. I just don't care.
yeah,
You know, like I'm
yeah,
happy again. And I'll make the statement right now. And I know we kind of don't want to get involved in politics and religion and things like that, but I've always said this to my friends, family, my kids. I don't care of what you are. Look, I'm not in bed with you. Go love what you love. Look, love is hard to find. If you can find love in any capacity, go get it. Hold on to it as hard as you can and squeeze, and don't let it go. You know,
mm-hmm,
now are there some rights out there that are being impinged on? Yes, but in the X-Men book, the X-Men are incredibly inclusive in
yeah,
everything they do, almost to ad nauseum. Like I said, sometimes it's kind of overpowering that they're so inclusive. You're like, well, fuck,
sure,
like it almost made Wolverine completely, neutered because he couldn't do anything. He no longer can drink. He no longer can smoke cigars. He no longer can like just cut people to ribbons and not care. He's got to have
right.
emotions attached to it. And you know,
That goes everything that dude's character is. Yeah. So, but anyway, so that's the story about her. It's a good thing overall that's happening. I would say I'm sorry for her and her family, but this woman's made millions of dollars. She's fine. She'll be okay.
I'm sure she got a severance package, dude, that is more than you and I've made together.
Ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
A number that we probably can't even count to. So yeah.
Rob's right
The
there, by the
X-Men
way.
were more diverse, yep, sooner than a lot of other groups of yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Rob's 100% right.
Okay. 100% right. Okay, and then the other thing I thought was kind of cool was this. This is kind of fun to see. Did you switch with me, bro? Let's see. Share
No,
this
no.
instead.
Please don't
There
look
we
at my
go. Here
pic.
we go.
Wait, what's this?
Yeah. You see this? So they're doing a Last Ronin video game.
What? Okay.
Yeah. And they're modeling it after the most recent God of War games. So did you read Last Ronin?
I read the very first issue.
Okay.
Maybe the trade paperback. I can't remember.
Yeah. It can be confusing because they look like all of them look like trade paperbacks because they're thick square bound issues for the Last Ronin. But anyway, really really cool story. What's up?
So for a friend, when this came out, I have a friend who was really into turtles, and I bought him the
All
Last
kinds or
Ronin.
Teenage Mutant?
Teenage Mutant Ninja, yeah, all kinds of turtles. Yellow belly sliders, yeah.
I like
Cute
turtles.
ones. Yeah.
I like turtles.
No, I got him the Last Ronin book 1, and it's worth money now, isn't it?
The first print is, yeah.
Okay, I hope it was like the 12th print thing, because I kind of think about it every now and then when I'm thinking about X-Men and how did I call them not X-Men. But anyway, go ahead. The Ronin.
Yeah. Well, no. So basically, they're doing a Last Ronin. So if you're not familiar with the story, basically it follows one turtle. And the first issue, you don't know who the turtle is. He's got a black mask on, and he has all 4 of the original bandanas of the Ninja Turtles and all of their weapons all on him. So it's like, who is this dude? He could be anybody, right? And
So
he's,
wait,
and he's going out. Mm-hmm.
Sorry to cut you off, but if he's got all the weapons, if he has all the weapons, that means some motherfuckers are dead. Oh shit!
Yeah. So basically, yeah. So there's one turtle left. Is kind of what your assumption is, and who's the one that's left. And there's shots of like the 3 other turtles in ghost form, kind of like at his back as guardian angels watching over him. It's really really cool. It's one of the first comic reads when I got into the hobby that I think it might be the first series that I picked up. It was like, put this in my folder kind of deal. So it takes place in the future, obviously. Splinter's dead, and then a number of turtles are dead. And at the end of the first issue, basically he's battling Shredder's great grandson, is who it is.
What?
And so let me ask you this: out of all the turtles, right, on this mission by himself, and keep in mind too, he can't stop mutating. So not only is he the only one still alive, but it turns out the longer they survive, they mutate even larger. So he's getting bigger and stronger, faster, better.
Is he like ingesting his brothers? Is he like ingesting his brothers like
no
Ka or whatever it's called, some kind of like weird thing, you know?
No,
like,
just the mutation's not stopping.
Mutating. So the ICRI. Look, I'm going to say this, and I know it's Raphael. I know I'm right.
Why?
Because he's the only prick who would stay alive, and you know it. It's not Donatello, because Donatello was the blue masked one.
Donatello, blue, yeah.
Okay. So Donatello was a leader, but he was kind of a puss, you know. So he's dead. Leonardo, he was the he. You're like the
Donatello. Oh, yes, yeah. Donatello was a puss. Donatello used the bow staff.
No,
he had the staff. Donatello, no. Leonardo had the swords.
I'm not fighting you.
Donatello had the staff.
Donatello
Michelangelo had the nunchucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let's go through it. I'll tell you how I know it's Raphael or Raphael, as I always say. So Donatello died because science. You know, you can't be a little scientist and live forever. It's not going to happen. Leonardo died because he let his. I'm talking about fucking turtles. Leonardo died because he let his feelings get in the way. You know, and he was like, I can't kill these people because I'm noble. Blah blah blah. Master Splinter. Michelangelo died because I don't know, he had fucking nunchucks. So he's dead, and that leaves Raphael, who is just a type of prick who would stay alive. You know what I'm saying? He's just a guy that
Raphael had the thickest shell, 100%. He was the most hardcore one, but it's Michelangelo.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like Raphael would eat his brothers. He'd be like that guy in the movie Alive, where he's on the side of the mountain and like I'm still alive, and you're just eating the person. It's Michelangelo? Are you fucking with me?
No. Dude, think about it. Think about it. So from a storytelling perspective,
I'm not even saying it right.
From a storytelling perspective, he's the perfect one because he was the most kind of goofy, immature one, right? He's the most that he needs to grow up. So what more to make him grow up than the loss of his father and his three brothers? Dude, it's fucking great. It's a really, really cool story, and it's
but I'm kind of goofy, but my family doesn't need to be wiped off the face of the earth for me to grow up. You know,
it doesn't. But it makes for a better story.
All right,
especially if you're a ninja.
All right. We gotta really improve my story.
Yeah,
I need a little glow up on my life.
Yeah. All right, babe. I need an origin story. Sleep tight.
Put this mask on.
Your face.
Yeah.
Jesus. But anyway, they're making.
I need a better origin story.
Yeah. They're making a game out of it based off of God of War, which is really cool. Really good game there. The template's based off of God of War. And they say they're not holding back. This is a brutal book. Like, April O'Neil shows up. She's fucking scarred up. She's got a robotic arm. Dude, it's like they're going balls to the wall. So it sounds cool. I'm excited about it.
Okay. Show of hands here in the chat. And really, I mean it. There's 6 people in here. We appreciate every one of you. Show of hands here. Number 1 for people who have played God of War. I'd really like to know who's played God of War. This is important, okay? If you're listening, if you're out there. Number 1 in the chat for God of War, you played it. Let's give it a second, John. I want to see.
Sure.
Come on, don't let me down, guys. Type 1s. refresh. 0. What? Okay. All right. For those who have played God of War, it's a 0/ thing. Fingers and toes is giving me there. All right. So when have you played God of War? What's your favorite part in God of War? All of them.
All of them. All the God of Wars.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay. It's a recurring theme in every single one of them. Let's hear it.
No, it's not recurring.
Yes, there is. There is a recurring thing in every game. You get to it, you're kind of like, oh yeah.
where he has sex with somebody.
Yeah,
Is what you're thinking. No,
every
dude,
damn
that.
game. So, look, don't make me sound juvenile. I'm not
Okay, no,
juvenile. I'm
I'm
a grown
not.
ass
I'm
man.
not. No,
But
I enjoyed that when I was younger.
so but I know in every God of War, the very first one I was playing, I got to this one weird cutscene. I'm kind of like, what's going on? What the fuck?
Oh
Okay, I
yeah.
was like, all right, cool, weird. Second one, I'm like, what? Okay, we're just gonna up the ante here. Every
Mm.
game. I don't know about Ragnarok or the one that I still haven't beaten,
Yeah,
but
it's
I'm
not.
sure they're
It's not.
there. There's no way.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not part of it. It's definitely not part of it.
You just didn't unlock it yet.
Um,
That's all.
I just you're right. I just didn't unlock it. Let's
So
see.
you know what I'm
Tennessee
getting at.
Walk. Well, this time haven't beat it. Yeah, I know exactly what you're getting at.
You just said April O'Neil. My
You-
eyes were like, I'm a scumbag now, apparently.
Ewok says, "Well, I started Ragnarok, but I haven't beat it. It's okay. Take your time. I haven't even started Ragnarok. Actually, I gave up on the one right before it. Crystal's taken over for me.
Is that so you could play It Takes Two, which is a great game that you probably still haven't started yet?
We started it. We started it.
Oh, how could you stop once you start?
We're tired.
Look,
Oh, wait, sorry.
I actually, It Takes Two. I actually started playing that because of Intense Ewok. Intense Ewok actually brought me to It Takes Two, and I got it, and I loved it. I thought it was a great game. You know, Resident Evil for tomorrow.
4 tomorrow. Does that come out tomorrow? Is that what you're saying? I'm
Probably
not a huge
download
gamer
tonight.
at all. Actually, I'm not even a gamer. So,
Oh, we'll start talking about closet stuff, you fucking liar. You got a PS4 in your fucking living room.
well, yeah. I mean, of course, you need to have some sort of console.
Yeah, I get yeah. Well,
Right?
unless you're a computer person, and then you just laugh at people who have consoles. You're like, you dirty bastard. You know.
No, yeah. I don't even know
I've
about
never,
that life.
I've never been able to play on PC. In fact, I almost forgot about it until I just said it
neither.
correctly. You know, the whole joystick. You know, like I have
Yeah.
yeah. So the joystick with the controls where you're like LR up down things like that.
Yep.
You know, I like playing Doom and shit like that. But I mean, yeah, the computer. And I know computers are better. You know, but I never could get into them. You know,
Yeah.
so.
The last game I played on a computer was 1987, Ghostbusters.
Wait,
On
what?
a Macintosh.
On a computer? Whoa, shit.
Well, I'm sorry. No, hold on. There was a spot in like 2000 where I played Duke Nukem. But before that, it was Ghostbusters on the Macintosh.
Is Duke Nukem just like a poor man's version of Doom? Was that what's going on?
So I guess Duke Nukem is the white version of God of War. The dude is a gun tote. It's the white version. The dude's he's a blonde, flat top white dude walking around with giant machine guns.
It's Guile from
goes
Street
around-
Fighter?
Pretty much. Chat, correct me if I'm wrong.
Is his name Johnny?
He's pretty much got his
Billy?
No, his name is Duke Nukem. But he pretty much goes around blowing up demons and having sex with strippers.
Oh, he is a white guy.
You never played Duke Nukem? Yeah. Oh, he's
Blowing up demons and banging strippers. I don't know. No, I don't think so. You know, there is a
fingers and toes.
There is-
1987. I'm old, man. Yeah.
there is a guy I watch online called the Angry Video Game Nerd. And Angry Video Game Nerd, for you guys who don't know who that is, you should look him up. He's really awesome. He plays a bunch of old NES games and Genesis games from back in the day. And he just talked about it the entire time. And he has this production and he gets really pissed off and he usually breaks the games in a very funny way, or he has like fake donkey shit he puts on them and things like that. But
oh, wait, does he
Angry-
have he has a mullet? He's got a mullet,
Not-
black
not a
mullet, and
mullet.
glasses?
he has glasses, but doesn't black mullet though. It's Angry Video Game Nerd. And I literally was
okay.
having such a good time that while I was on my honeymoon in Costa Rica, I was like sitting on a balcony laughing my ass off watching it. And my wife walks by in a bikini and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I just had to explain. I'm like, "I'm watching this guy. I'll get right to you, honey. We'll be right there." You know.
That's funny. This dude's way more important than you.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. So let's see. Jose Casemiro says Duke Nukem 64. I was like 7 or 8. I always used to go to the strip club. Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
You
same here.
go to a strip club in the game?
Yeah, you can shoot
Okay, well,
strippers or you can pay strippers.
so
I
like
was
I know
I
that,
was a gentleman. I paid them,
and then you robbed them. You rolled them just like Grand
and
Theft
and
Auto.
then I robbed them from the money I just paid them.
I mean, and I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but again, if you're gonna say go to strip clubs, then obviously you need to talk about Grand Theft Auto because, like, every time I get a
Oh
Grand
yeah,
Theft Auto, listen, I feel now I just feel dirty, bro. I just need to go burn everything I'm wearing, but like when you first play any Grand Theft Auto game, I like you start to unlock the map, and then you're immediately like, all right, where's the strip club?
yeah,
I don't know if you ever played Grand Theft Auto, but that's exactly what you
yeah. Vice
do.
City was great. I love Vice City.
As soon as you see that
Uh,
little shoe, you go right there. You're like, "What's up?"
right. No, when I die, if Vice City is the afterlife, let's go. Vice
Oh,
City is cool,
you know, pump some iron and ride some bikes around like
dude.
Debo from
I
fucking
just the
Friday.
tone. It's all about the tone. The tone of Vice City is just great. Love
Oh, I
it.
was thinking of San Andreas, but yeah, Vice City. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you think
yeah,
of San
yeah.
Andreas? Yeah.
I said,
Okay. So since us video expertise are done talking about video games that we know nothing about, let's move on to our main topic, huh?
yeah, let's do it. I feel like we should like
Okay.
restart the show.
So you want to restart the show?
Yeah, hit the intro again. Let's try this again. Hit the intro, you guys. Bear with us.
That's
Here we
just
go.
kind of we shouldn't do that. See,
Okay.
when we don't have a guest, it's just Rev and I. It's a fucking mess. See, this is why we have guests on here because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
This is a comic book
It's
show.
funny.
God damn it!
Yeah. This is our excuse to hang out. Okay, but real talk. Here we go.
All right,
So
give me a picture. Yes, making fun of me again.
I'm not making fun of you, dude. I understand where anybody that's in this situation is going. What we're talking about tonight is just collecting in the broadest sense, right? So whatever kind of collector you are, and how you can maximize collecting comics. If that's even what you want to do. Some people, they don't even want to like maximize collecting comics, right? They want to go to the shop every Wednesday, they pick up their new reads, they go home, they read them, and that's it. End of story. Great. If you're somebody who is a collector, you're looking to either grow your collection in some sort of way, fund the hobby, make a profit. Some people do it for a living, for various reasons. So the great thing about Reverend and I is that we are kind of on either end of a spectrum when it comes to collecting comics. Reverend has a great family, a beautiful family that he loves more than anything. And with that comes a limited amount of space and resources for hoarding a bunch of paper.
Yeah.
I, on the other hand, was blessed with, a spare room and a very, very understanding girlfriend who's very much on the nerdy side and loves what I do. So she very much encourages it. So I'm able to store a bunch of paper. So we're going to kind of talk about from both ends of our spectrum of, hey, this is how he does what he does. This is how I do what I do. And feel free to ask questions, pick our brains for whatever tidbits of information that we can lend you guys to help you improve your collection.
Definitely.
And yeah, and improving your collection does not mean in any sense this behind me, right? This wall of comics, that is not what I'm talking about maximizing. Maximizing is not quantity. It's whatever you value in your collection. So if you're trying to get the entire X-Men run from one to the current thing, that is your collection, right?
You're not doing it though.
It's tough, or vice versa. So whatever it is. But one thing that, and I'm going to let Rev kind of go in a second. And one thing I want to kind of start off talking about is this whole thing I have pulled up. Are you a closet collector? Some people might be, but what I define this as is somebody who collects, but on the down low. They don't really vocalize that they're collecting comics. And I think there's a lot of people out here, and Rev, you're not the first person to say, hey, like for me to ever heard like, yeah, let's not really talk about this right now. Like I do it on my own time. It's my thing. Let's leave it at that. There's a number of other people that collect that way. So, Rev, go on and maybe just kind of give everybody your backstory of how you kind of collect and how far are you willing to go to expand it, what your limitations are, what do you collect?
Yeah, let's start here at the beginning here. Hold on. I got a little something for you guys here. Okay. There we go, right there. That's the start of it all. That is Nightcrawler number one, right there.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler number
Hmm.
one. So my backstory is I used to live right by a comic book shop when I was a kid. I'd go there. I didn't get to buy stuff very often. I could read them, but comic books are always cool because I could like look at these cool stories and just like look at these colorful pictures and I really liked them. And I identified with Nightcrawler a lot. This I actually have this book. It's in terrible condition, but no, I like comic books, but I mean I could never afford them. I'd get them every now and then and things like that. And then what would happen is like I always consider myself a comic book person through my high school years and college and early adulthood, but I didn't buy them. I would know like when movies would come out, like that first X-Men movie came out, I was all like, oh, I know this storyline or this kind of stuff. All three of those really bad X-Men movies from Fox, like I was there like bitching about how the Dark Phoenix story was all wrong, that kind of shit. I was the worst kind of guy. but but so I always liked it, and I would read like trade paperbacks every now and then. I'd buy them, like I'd get Barnes and Noble gift cards, and I wouldn't get intelligent books. I'd buy like cheap comic books and things like that. And then the Marvel movies started to come out, and I would read the Marvel movie books. Like the when Iron Man came out, I got like those weird compendiums from like back in the day. They're like 500-page compendiums of Iron Man 1 through 20, and then I would read that stuff, and I'd bone up, and then I'd give them books away. About 2 years ago now, in May, so almost 2 years ago, you actually did a Instagram sale.
Hmm.
And I mentioned it the last show, but like I said, you started showing some books that I used to have as a kid. And I'm like, oh, well, I used to have that book. I used to have that book. And I went to my mom and dad, and my mom and dad who had my books are like, they're like, yeah, we don't have those books anymore. And I was like, ah.
Mm.
But what it did was it was a time of COVID. So what I ended up doing was I went to a local comic book shop, and I was just like scared to death to go in. I honestly, this is what you're talking about, the closet part of it. And like,
Hmm.
bear with me, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I am by no means like a super cool guy. I mean, I think I'm a cool guy, but there's something weird about the ego of it. Like when I first walked into the comic book shop, I was kind of like, fuck, I don't belong here. This is only for fucking nerds. There's gonna be weird little
Hmm.
statues on the walls. There's gonna be like, like Pokemon cards and cosplay shit. And I wasn't wrong. I walked in
Yeah.
there and all that shit was available, and there was like sweaty, stinky, smelly guys like behind the counter and things like that. And I'm like, but the weird thing was, is I had like I felt like I knew comic books, so I felt like I
Yeah.
could walk in and know what I was talking about. But immediately
Yeah.
I walked in there and I'm outmatched, I'm outgunned by these nerdy, stinky people. But I knew that I liked comic books, and I also knew that I was a prick for judging them because I was literally one of them, but I had to act like I was
Right.
fucking cooler than them.
Right. Right.
So I went in and I got like a trade paperback of the Swamp Thing or something stupid, like
Yeah.
and I got the fuck out of there, and I like licked my chops, and I was like, oh god, like what did I do here,
You went in your car and cried.
Yeah, dude, I went home and told my wife, I'm like, I don't know what I did. I feel so dirty. She's like, did you buy something? I'm like, yeah, I bought this. I bought this. You know, uh, and then like, so like it was like a week or two, and I went back and like there was like some Batman books, and I got like the Joker's Wild books or something like that. And then I was like, I
Oh yeah.
added like I had like two books to a pull list. It was something stupid. It was like the Moon Knight, first Moon Knight book, and like the Batman books, something like that. And it was around that time, I forgot who told me, but Marvel has this app called Marvel Unlimited where you can
Mm.
read all their comic books for like $10 a month. And it was like the first week was for free. And I told all my friends too. But I downloaded the app and I started reading books. And lo and behold, my knowledge started to grow, and I realized that there was some 20 odd years that I didn't know shit about shit in comic books.
Hmm.
And I read a ton, man. It was like rainy days, cold days. I just read. It's so easy to read them.
And this
And
is and this is give me a time frame. This is what year to what year?
we're talking, okay, so like 2021 was when you had your first Instagram sale,
Yeah.
wasn't it? Yeah. So we're
Something
talking
like that.
like
Yeah.
months after that. So if that was
Right.
May, So like in August, somewhere in August, I started to feel a little bit intelligent about comic books. Uh,
Yeah.
and I went back to Crescent City Comics armed with a little bit of knowledge, and I walked in there, and then it was I shit you not, it was now like when I went to the other comic book shop, I felt like everybody was fucking nerds. I
Mm-hmm.
went to Crescent City Comics, and I walked in, and I'm like, what the fuck? Everybody's fucking cool. There was like some guy in there with like a mohawk
It's
immediately.
fucking Uptown, dude. Because you're
Dude,
Uptown, baby.
it
It's
was
Uptown.
it was such a difference, dude. I walked in, I'm all like, now I feel like the fucking nerd. And I tell you, like, I walk in and like, and Idris was, of course, behind the counter looking all awesome and Idrisy. And there was another
Yep.
guy who had like dreadlocks who was there. And then there's this guy who's talking to him.
Driscoll.
Yeah. They had a guy who like had like the mohawk. He was in line. I'm like, all right, cool. What is this place? And
Yeah.
so like I went and bought like some dumb shit. And I continued to go back there, and I slowly started to build a pull list. And it's changed through the
Sure.
last year and a half, because like some books are good, then they go bad and shitty like that.
Nature of the
But then
beast.
but then I would also collect off eBay, and partly it's your fault. I would collect like
Mm-hmm.
weird books, like covers that like prismatic covers and just bizarre storyline stuff that I thought would be worth $1 million one day, and wasn't actually worth the money I paid for them, you know. But
You
I
didn't
love
get that
them.
Death of Superman? You got that Death of Superman?
Fuck no, dude. I read that when I was a kid. I'm like, you
Right.
just.
In the
I
bathtub.
remember just dropped it on in, you know. No, you know, like the whole Superman thing was weird because like out of nowhere they just make the Superman killer. Like, oh, like
Yeah.
no pretense. All of a sudden there's just a guy who's been in jail with his arms wrapped up, and now he's gonna come and kill Superman. That's what he did, you
Right.
know. But
Money grab.
but
It's a cash grab.
all of it is. And so to kind of put a pin on it, so what I do
Yeah.
now is I collect books that mean something to me on eBay. If there's like a character that I'm reading in Marvel Unlimited or in my books that I get in my pull list, and they're a cool character, I'm like, well, like it's fun to have their origin book, the book that
Yeah.
like they first were in. That's a cool feeling when you have like a book that has a character that this is the very first time they were ever drawn right here.
Yep.
They were ever made mention of. This is it right here.
Yep.
That
Yep.
to me
Yep.
is super cool. The problem
Fuck yeah.
is that sometimes people get in the way, and they think it's worth money to have all of them. So you got to kind of pick and choose who you're
Right.
going after, because otherwise, you know, like
Yeah.
you're not going to get. I mean, if you like Kitty Pryde, if Kitty Pryde is awesome, and you think she's great. Well, good fucking luck, because in the
Right.
book that she appears is Emma Frost. You know, like
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
X-Men. What is that? You know it.
What? Oh, 129.
All right, so let's take a look. Let's go. There it is. Boom. Yeah. So I'm not gonna be able to get that book. I mean, I could, but I'm not. I mean, I enjoy food. Yes. So, but Rob's also right. I collected a lot of. I got a lot of lenticulars. I still love them. But, and then like I said, I
Yeah.
came across. I mean, but when I thought like, okay, cool, I'm gonna get all the origins of all the characters I like. I mean, listen, that was like the wild fucking West, John. I was like, oh my God, I can go out and find all these books because I didn't have them. And, you know, now
Right.
that I'm older and I have a little bit of disposable income, I was like,
Yeah.
I'm going to go get these books. And then, you know, I run into
Yeah.
the roadblock of like, you know, Magic. Liana Rasputin her fucking first book is, you know, GSX1 or, you know, giant size X-Men. I'm not going to get that. It's $5,000. But,
Right.
but now it's kind of, it's kind of matriculated down to where I get my Wednesday books and I read the Unlimited app, and I really just enjoy it. And then I still buy some books on the side as far as like origin books, but you know, I pick and choose.
Right.
I pick and choose.
Right.
And that's my
Right.
story.
And what a beautiful one it is. I hope James Cameron picks it up one day and makes it into a movie that I can go see 7 times in the theaters.
Oh, dude,
Like I
are you
did
gonna,
Titanic.
I feel like you. It's almost like, dude. It's almost like you hang yourself out to dry. Why do you do that?
No, it's fine. No, it was topical. My buddy John came by and visited us today at the house, and he had recently watched the movie Titanic, and he said he watched it twice. So keep in mind, this is somebody who's seen it recently. I mean, well, he's seen it before, and then all of a sudden, on the second viewing, decades later, again has to watch it twice. It's just one of those movies. But anyway, we're not going to get into a Titanic discussion. That's for next episode.
No, it's
anyway.
not. No, it's not. It's not. What's that?
But
I'm busy next Thursday.
yeah. No, but my kind of question for you is like, so when we call it closet collecting, right? Or when I call it closet collecting, it's somebody who we have completely different approaches as far as to what collecting is to us, right? And how we wear that on our sleeves. So like for you, a random person that might be a friend of the family or something like that, you're not going to like bring up over dinner, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to go do this comic podcast, right? You're probably not going to talk about it at all. Fuck no, right? So, hey, and that's cool. That's fine.
So podcast maybe, yes. Podcast maybe.
Okay, podcast maybe. But like, okay, so that's my question. What's the difference between the podcast and comic collecting? Like, why can you tell somebody, yeah, I'm going to go do a podcast, or I got to go do some comic stuff, press a book, or, read a book or whatever. Like, why would you inform somebody about one thing and not the other thing? It's like, is my question.
Okay. So say it again, but like a few less words, but say again. Why can't I do this versus this? Say it out loud again. Why can't I what?
Why couldn't you talk about collecting comics versus talking on a podcast? That's about comics.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay. Well, you got me there. If you throw comics in the pot, if I were to say like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm about to go do my podcast. Maybe you've heard of it. It's called Into the Void, like, woo.
Unless you're Enigma, Fingers and Toes, Emily, Rob Fan Guy, Crystal Lewis. Maybe not.
Okay.
But
so
yeah.
But or like, hey guys, like, so like, yeah, listen, I know it's Saturday night and y'all want to go out and have some drinks, but listen, what I'm gonna do instead, hear me out. I'm gonna go home.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna grab a stack of books I haven't read, and I'm gonna read them, and then I'm gonna press them, and then I'm gonna look at that beautiful press while it heats up, and then I'm gonna turn it off, John. Rate it when it gets to 0, but the beep isn't gonna happen. It's gonna go 1, 0.
Don't
click
you love
off.
That?
And then
I love that.
Yeah. So
yeah.
But look, there's been nights that I've done that and I haven't said it because you know what? Because fuck it. That's why.
Fuck it. Okay. So my whole thing on closet collecting, because again, look, even Fingers and Toes, I'm absolutely a closet collector.
He's a sneaky fuck.
He's sneaky. He does a lot of shit. He does a lot of shit in the closet.
That guy's out there living his best life with his awesome wife. You know what? Like,
yeah,
I know him, and he's a fucking sleeper, man, for sure. I had no idea. He starts talking to me on the side. I'm like, whoa, who the fuck are you?
Can't wait to meet him.
Yeah,
can't wait to meet him.
Yeah.
But what I guess the whole point of the thing is like, so what is it about comics that do you feel like people don't deserve to know, or do you feel like they're going to judge you a certain way? Because it kind of goes back to your first feeling, right? Of you yourself when you went into a comic shop, when you were first getting back into the hobby, right? Mm-hmm. And you yourself went in and you were kind of like, look at these fucktards, like fucking nerds. What's this book?
Yeah.
Like, are you afraid? Are you afraid? And it's okay if I use that term, afraid, but like, of people have that perception of you. But like, are you worried that people are going to have that perception of you if you be like, hey, I collect fucking comic books? What's up?
Absolutely. Yeah. Listen, I'm also not wearing pants right now, just so you know. But yes, so because of that, I want to let you know that.
Yeah.
But you want this in your face, bro?
No, keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. Like so like, oh God, okay. Like, how far do we go with the male imperative? All right, let's talk about this. All right, this isn't very PC of me, but let me say this because honestly,
say it.
If I told somebody I collect comics, would it get me laid? Wait, now hold on. Okay. I could probably walk into that first comic book shop and say I collect comics. And maybe I could get laid, and I don't want to sound like a fucking scumbag here, but I'm like this is the mentality sometimes that sticks into your mind. Like, sure. And I don't tell you I collect comics. I'm trying to get laid by you. Although I'm sure it'd be a great time, but don't choke.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like don't know what people's reactions are going to be, because I think that saying that you collect comic books is a polarizing thing. It's not like maybe I collect and kind of collect. It's kind of like you're in or you're not. Like it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, for sure.
So I mean, if you tell somebody to collect comics, listen, you immediately think they're a comic book person. They listen. They may be a fucking astrophysicist. Okay, they may
Yeah,
have done many things in their
or a
life. They may,
doctor, or a
yeah,
neo-doc.
or fucking like a nice, or or they could build railroads. Like they may look like the thickest, meatiest dude ever, but the second you say comic book guy, you're like, oh, I can take him. Like you immediately
But
like.
wait, hold on, wait. But take them in what?
Wait, which way do you mean?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know. Like you said,
I'm
like
saying
I can take them. Like take them in what?
maybe like I said, maybe I think that like initially my thoughts when if you're a comic book person is that like
Yeah,
that you're just not like I don't know like
people look down
cool.
on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So here's my thought on that statement. That will be whatever you're trying to do in the hobby, collect, whatever, make it a profession. That will definitely inhibit you from reaching your potential, because so much of this, right, to acquire all of the books that are out there, right, there's so many collections that people have not stumbled upon yet that are stowed away in somebody's attic or
Right.
their closet.
100%.
If you hide from your friend group or your family that you collect comic books, you're not seeing any of that stuff. None of it.
You're right.
So
You're right.
it is your biggest inhibitor. So your collection can only grow as proactive as you are as a person to let people know that you do this for a hobby or a business or whatever it is. So from my perspective is that, dude, we grow up in a time where, look, you're like talking about like you're like 1950 is in the closet gay dude, right? Like you're like hiding from people, like I can't come out the closet, like people are going to judge me. Dude, we are way past that. Majority of the stuff that comes out in theaters nowadays is comic book derived, and the shows on TV. If you look at all the things on Netflix that's optioned that are comic book that are succeeding compared to all the fucking dreck that's out there, is comic book derived. The thing that we love to collect is the source material for a lot of stuff. So you can't limit yourself by being worried about what people think. But the crazy thing is people fucking think it's cool. Because in my profession, let me tell you, in my profession, so side note, I don't do this for a living. I do home inspections. And a lot of times I work with real estate agents. And real estate agents can be, depending on the person, but they can be kind of like the person that you think in your mind, right, is going to be judging me for collecting comics. I would put somebody like a real estate agent always on their phone, doing business deals, selling the $1 million house, to look at the lowly comic collector being like, oh, that's kid shit, right? I would classify that type of lifestyle as somebody that would think like that. Well, in my profession, I completely vocalize to people right before I leave a house and do my job, depending on how the rapport goes. If I think there's somebody that wants to hear anything else about my personal life, if we hit it off, I absolutely 100% throw in, I collect comics. I started a small comic book business. Hey, if you're in a house and your person selling their house has comics and they're trying to sell, let me know. I'll buy the whole damn lot. And the initial reaction for somebody when I tell them I collect comics and they look at my card that I made, they're like,
But you have a card for collecting comics?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen
got business cards, dude.
That say
got
Paper
business
Chase
cards.
Comics?
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Fuck. That's cool.
Hey, well, hang on. So look. So I give them my card, and they're like, and you would think, right? Somebody who's fucking dressed in Gucci and Louis Vuitton heels and fucking pulled up in a fucking Porsche, they're gonna be like, comic books. Literally 9 out of 10 times they say, oh, that's actually really cool. And I'm just like, and when they say that, I get this like exciting feeling like, yeah, like you get it, because there's probably some weird shit that you're into that is not comic books, but you get it. It's something else different. And not to mention, in this day and age, it's semi, even though we're in a downward trend, glorified, right? Like a lot of our movies and stuff is based off of comics again. But you will be surprised how many people appreciate the hobby and the collecting. And that's not even going into the investment portion of the hobby and what, how it could be smart for people like us, right? I know nothing about the oil industry. I know nothing about the gas and fucking Apple and technology. I don't know shit about that, but I know about art and I know what attracts people on an entertainment level. And I can tell if I think something's going to have a mass appeal based on its art aesthetics, right? Mm-hmm. So I put my investments into fucking comic books. Like that's just where my money's held, So go ahead. Your question?
No, I'm actually thoughts? So like as you're talking right now, I mean, like I'm doing some critical thinking in my head, and like I said, I mean, I was making some jokes before, and I kind of want to like back some of my stuff up, but no, what you're saying, it makes sense. I'm enjoying the horse that you're on and what it's charging through. Let's go.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, so like, but that's is like if you want to maximize whatever it is your collection is, you have to wear it on your sleeve. You have to tell people like your family, your friends that, look, this is a side thing that I do. And fortunately my job, I'm in and out of houses that are either on the market or about to be on the market. So over the course of the time, I've run into literally a couple of families where I'm inspecting their houses and I open up a door and I'm like, there's a wall of comics here. And I go and I play it smooth and I don't play it over aggressively. But I'm like, hey,
how you play it smooth, Johnny?
But like, hey, I see you're moving. I'll move the comics over to my house. Yeah. And I'll move the comics over to my house. I'll pay you a price for them, and it's been beneficial for me being what I have acquired in the short time that I've been collecting. One is attributed to two things. One is definitely my job being in the real estate business. I've been able to run into collections. So luck is on my side. But two is 100% the drive and me vocalizing what I do. And my whole point to this whole thing is if you want to maximize whatever it is you're trying to do with your collection, you have to vocalize it. If you are happy being a quote unquote closet collector, getting your books, going home and reading them, that's great. But if it's anything other than that, you got to market yourself. And there's multiple ways of doing that for sure. And definitely one is getting business cards made and just talking to people. You're going to be surprised how many people had comics as a kid or know somebody and they're going to be like, oh, my friend so-and-so has got books in his attic, come check them out.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely what you're saying. And like I said, like I want to like back it up by saying that I definitely enjoy collecting and the people that I've met have all been cool. Listen, I met you through this. Yeah. So, I mean, like, part of the Titanic where they're the front of the boat and the whole, I don't know who I am, but I'm one of them. And you're the other. So many
Titanic references today.
Oh, just because but, so the thing is like I collect and I enjoy it. It brings me joy just for the small things. A lot of time, like when you get a book in from eBay and things like that, I'll get the mail and then I'll open it up and man, it's so cool to see if the book is in good shape, if the spine's in good shape. You get it out, you're like, what a fucking treat, when I get things from like Whatnot, I'm like, okay, it's a crapshoot. I don't know if it's going to be a great collecting book or not or things like that. And then you get them and you open it, you're like, wow, how cool is this? And then sometimes, like, you'll gamble on a book that you saw like on eBay that is a little bit of a spine roll or something's wrong, and you can get that motherfucker here to your house and you can clean it and you can press it and then you have a wonderful book in your possession. It's one of those things where
love it.
I'm not a closet collector in the fact that I'm not willing to talk about it at all. I definitely pick and choose who I talk to about though. I mean,
and go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I have a good friend, a mutual friend of ours. It's a very good friend of mine. And he only recently, like last year or 2 years ago now, told me he collects toys. I know know who we're talking about, but I knew the guy for 5.5 years and didn't know he collected toys. And, one day I was at his house. I'm like, hey, let me see your toys. He's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And then he kind of showed me and I was like, holy shit, you have a lot of toys. But it made him happy. Now, listen. My thing is like, if your collecting doesn't impinge on your family responsibilities and things like that, you could also be like an addict. You can buy comic books too much and you can be like an addict where you're just like, you're buying shit randomly. There's no rhyme or reason. And quite
Sure.
honestly, when I first started, that is kind of what I was doing. I was spinning because there was so much I just didn't have. And I'm like, ooh, maybe I want that. Maybe I want that. Maybe. And I was just buying shit. I mean, I would get like 4 and 5
Yep.
boxes a day sometimes of books. And I'm like, and I thought every single one of them was cool. But
Yeah.
as I gained knowledge, I realized that a lot of the shit that I was buying for $5 and $6 a pop, I couldn't turn around and sell for the world for 25 cents. And that'll fiscally, like, you kind of start to think about things. You're like, what am I going to do with this book? Is it the thrill of the hunt? And I will tell you
Yeah.
guys, if you're new collectors out there, yes, the biggest part of being a comic book collector when you're not buying new books every Wednesday or whatever it is the thrill of the hunt. I will look you right in the eye. It is the thrill of the hunt to find that book and get it back in your possession and not know quite what it looks like or what kind of condition it is, and then to find out that it's in great condition, or maybe you crap out and it's in bad condition. But a lot of the time it's cool because you'll get a book that's come to you from fucking Secaucus, New Jersey. And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, holy shit, I've never been to Secaucus, New Jersey. And now that book has traveled from 1985 in Secaucus, New Jersey to my house in New Orleans. And you open
Right.
you realize this book has traveled and it's fucking 35 years old, like
Right.
it's
Right.
37 years old, like, that's crazy. That is
Right.
crazy.
It is. Citizen Jamie in the house. What's up, buddy?
Citizen Jamie. Yay. Yeah.
Dude, no, yeah, no, absolutely, absolutely, man. And then look, Intensity Walk says, "I love collecting. Have no issue
Yeah.
telling people I read and collect comics." Man, look, the hobby, people will only give as much respect to the hobby as you give it, right? So if
Say it again.
you
Say it again, but like
people
make
will,
it like
people will only respect your hobby as much as you can respectfully tell them that this is your fucking shtick, that this is what you do, right? So you can't, if you go into it or if you disregard it, they're never going to know. But if you tell somebody with confidence, hey, like, look, this is what I do. This is my side gig. Right now, dude, so many people have side hustles. It's crazy. Like, so for this to be one of them is nothing out of the norm for anybody to hear. I've only gotten one. I don't know what this lady's problem was. Out of all the real estate agents that I've
this
like,
woman. Sorry.
yeah, this fucking woman here. I don't know what her issue was, but I gave her my card, and so my the logo, right? It's somewhere on the screen.
Well, I've never
But
seen your
anyway,
card. I was a good friend, but
let me see if I can. Well, I'll see if I can find it in a second. But anyway, she looked at it. She's like, "Oh, what is that? Yeah, Peter Pan? You're stealing from Peter Pan?" She was very offended by my card. I was like, "Ma'am, I am sorry I shared this with you. I hope you find happiness one day, but you are a miserable, miserable woman."
woman.
And so, yeah. And so she, that was the only person ever that I've told I collected comics to that had a bad reaction.
Really?
But yeah, that's the point. It's like, yeah, you can only, it's like, it's also a confidence thing, right? Like, from like a male to female perspective, a female's only gonna respect you or not respect you, but like have as much confidence in you as you can display that you have in yourself. If you display no confidence in yourself, well, how is anybody else gonna have the confidence in that? So it's the same thing with your hobby. If you make it sound like it's like oh yeah, I do this on the side, people are gonna say like, oh, okay, or disregard it, or doesn't sound like a lot of fun. But if you're like, look, this is what I do.
Oh shit.
Check it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, give them a card. People will respect that, and they're gonna and it's gonna give a good impression about
Like,
what you
take
do.
the card, like put it on their chest. You're like, take the fucking card. Like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
so you're
But,
aggressive. You're an aggressive like shower.
dude, I'm like, no, I'm not overly aggressive. I wait for the right timing because of my job, because I can't jeopardize the bread and butter of what I do, which is home inspecting. But when the timing is right, I will absolutely tell somebody my side gig and pick their brain about it. So, and so that being said, all right, from this point on, it's like when you're collecting comics, and I guess this is where maybe we can get into, okay, once you've decided, first thing is if you start collecting comics, you kind of have to decide what the goal is. Otherwise, again, you just start hoarding paper. So
Yeah.
the other advice for this, and look, I'm working on this myself, streamline your collection.
Okay.
Basically, this means what is in the PC. Choose what. If the house is burning down, The floodwaters are coming in.
Define
What
PC.
books? Personal collection.
Okay.
What are you grabbing? If the house is burning
There's a
down
fire.
and you've got 5,000 books,
Oh shit.
what are you grabbing? This is the rock of your collection here. What and this is important because this is going to keep you from hoarding stuff. That doesn't eventually mean there's quick fixes. There's like infatuations in comics, and then like there's like love in comics, right? So for instance, I don't know.
Hey, look, while you're doing that, it's hard.
This
it's hard.
is an infatuation because Guardians 3 3 is coming out, right?
Right.
This
It
is
smells
love
like a. Okay.
because it's fucking I'm never going to find another one again, and it's iconic, right? So it's like, what do you have to decide like what that is for you as a collector. Otherwise, you're just going to have a shit ton of stuff that just takes up space and is not going to fund the hobby for you.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying,
Uncanny Batman.
yeah, yeah. Hey, look, one day Walk should just jump in on this podcast and just fuck with us.
I would love it.
Live, yeah. So
I would love it.
It's you talk about streamlining the collection. So the thing is, I'm thinking about streamlining the collection. Okay, so Wednesdays when I go, which I haven't gone, this week, I have books that I pick. All right. My problem though, Johnny, is that like, okay, so 20 Wednesdays from now, I have 150 books, that like, I mean, I possibly may read them again, and they're all modern books though. Like, I mean, now what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I doing with these books? I mean, like, because like when the house is burning down, I'm leaving all those. I'm clearly I'm clearly grabbing. I've already showed this. I'm not going to go too high though because I'm naked. But I'm gonna. I showed last week. I'm getting Obnoxio #1. That's coming with me.
Right.
That's
in
coming
the
with
saga.
me. Well, maybe, but most definitely. Hold on a second here. I didn't show this one last week, but I really like it a lot here. I'm glad you kept that banner up because again, cock. But have you remember this one? Look at this out of here.
Yeah.
I got it.
Absolutely.
Bill Sienkiewicz Electra book right here. That's hard to see, but God, I love it. It may come with me, but you're right. Like I still to this day I kind of spin as to what I do with the modern books because, like I said, I have that app. I have the Marvel Unlimited app, and I mean, I can be lazy and I can wait 3 extra weeks to read the book, or I can go buy it on Wednesday. But streamline the collection is important. I mean, I used to like whenever somebody would come out in a comic book, like let's say Magic, who's a favorite character of mine. It didn't matter what she was in, I was going to buy it. But it also depends on the writers. The writers may write her stupid, and it may be a dumb book. And I've learned my lesson. Like there's a book that recently came out, and Walk and I were talking about yesterday, actually, or maybe today. They all kind of blend. They had the brand new Secret Invasion came out, and it was awesome. It's a 4 or 5 part series, and it was great, except for the last book, which is important. So now I have these books, these 5 books, and I may read them again, but now I don't know what to do with them. Because they don't. I collect certain runs, like my X-Men I run, and New Mutants I run that, and a few other ones. But these random series, I don't know what to do with them. Like, what do I do with these?
So
Johnny?
let me ask you this: what is the one thing that brings you the most joy in comic collecting?
Okay, so collecting. All right, so that's 2 parts, man. That's 2 parts because
you know what? Hold on. Let me rephrase that. What is the one thing that brings you the most joy in comics? Period. Not collecting in comics.
Fucking awesome, badass plot twists. I fucking love them. I love them.
Rev, what I'm seeing is you are 100% at heart a true fucking comic book reader. You love the fucking storylines, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I like the pictures.
That's what you love. Do you like the pictures? Do you like the tangible aspect of having a comic book in your hand, or can you read it on the Marvel Unlimited?
Yeah, I like having the books. But they feel dangerous in my hand. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm gonna fucking ruin this book that I just spent $3 on or $4 on.
Look, on a modern book, man, you can't really. We're dealing with just a bunch. I mean, look, overall, modern books. We're not dealing with Hulk 181s anymore. It's just we're past that era of collecting. There's very few books right now that you're going to put a spine tick in that you're actually reading. that is you're going to completely like kick yourself in the ass for 20 years from now. So I would say, if you really enjoy reading the physical book, keep on doing what you're doing, and
Sure.
fucking don't be afraid to put a fucking spine tick in them, you know? And if you are, right, if you are buying on New Comic Book Day like you are, and you do want to have one to grade, then buy one to grade and buy one to read. Buy one to read in the tub.
I get, yeah. Thank you. Yes. I guess I don't. I guess in a way, you kind of wonder what the end game is. Like, again,
Exactly.
I don't want to discourage anybody from buying. I'm going to do it every week. I'm going to do it every week. I'm going to get my 5 or 6 or 7 books that I get every week, and I'm going to read it, and I'm going to love them. And but what I'm saying is, like, sometimes those start to build up. I mean, I know that having talked to, let's just say, Walk and Enigma, those are my 2 ride or dies right there in books.
Yep.
You know, we talk about books that we read every week, and I know since Walk has been collecting books that he's got to be close to like, I would say like 200 plus books now. I give or take right around there. And it's like, what do you do? Like, if you're going to be like a collector, you're going to like you have to resign yourself to the fact that you're going to start getting boxes upon boxes, and like a new shelf that I have here in my room right now. I have a brand new shelf. It's not full, thank God, but I mean, like, hey, in a year and a half it will be. You know, so, but I don't want to not collect them. I love them, you know, and I really enjoy the story, and it's great. And I mean, like, in the end, Johnny, I guess in a way I justify it is like, I used to read like big, thick books all the time, you know, like I love a big hardcover, softcover book. I love reading. The crazy thing about comics is like, now when I get 5 or 6 books a week, I have 5 or 6 storylines in my head floating. And like, it's not the same books every week that I get, because it's like they don't come out every week. They come out once a month. So it's like 5, and then Marvel and DC and all the companies stagger their books the way they come out. So like, the 5 books I get this week will not be the 5 books I get next week. It'll be 5 books I got 2 weeks ago. So now I'm continuing the storyline. So it's like, you always have like some cool storyline in your head that you're thinking about. And I never know when the books are going to come out. So when I go to the shop on Wednesday, I'm like, oh shit, oh yeah, okay, cool, this is coming out. The new Wolverine just came out. Fuck, what is Beast going to do to him? You know, or that
it's
kind
like
of stuff.
it's the equivalent of like if Netflix wouldn't release their shit all at once and would make us wait like old school TV did. That's the clusterfuck of things that would be going on story wise. And it's just the nature of comics. It's the nature of printed material. You know. So I mean, honestly, if you're happy doing that, then I think you're doing everything great. You have to decide what to do with them once you're done with them. You know, like how long do you typically keep a book or a run after you're done reading it?
Okay. So like, along with everybody else who's kind of new in here, collecting comics, that is the question. I would tell you right now, because I'm running into the problem. I don't know what to do with them. You know, I now have boxes of modern books that I've been reading for, you know, a year and a half now, since you and I have been hanging out, and I don't know what to do with them. I'm like, do I, there's no reason to keep them. You know, there's no
emotional attachment.
Some of them are, you know, there's a book out there that I still can't get. It's like a $4 book, and I won't spend 10 on it. But I can't. Who cares? But like, some books are really good. But once I collect 1 to like 10 of something, I'm not gonna like get rid of 1, 4, 6, and 8. You know, I'm gonna keep them. Sure. I'm not gonna get rid of them. I've got them in order. You know, I mean, not like it's not like that completionist thing, but I mean, like, you know. Yeah. You know, like, and then when I complain to people about that, I'm kind of like, well, you know, I've got too much, and this is good, by the way. Like, I've got too much paper in my house. They go, and this is where Satan is involved. They go, well, dude, just buy the trade paperback. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to buy the trade paperback, because there's no value in the trade paperback, you know?
There's not. So here's how I feel about trade paperbacks. Here's my perfect collection.
Hold on, I'm going to put Jamie's storyline. I'll put Jamie's thing up here. So we get to it, but you go first. That.
Yep. So if it's a storyline so Star Wars, for instance, right? Take Darth Vader or Dr. Aphra.
Okay.
I want the trade paperback so that I can just pull out, because the art is actually more appealing on the quality of paper of a trade paperback than it is in the shitty ass fucking Marvel printed paper. So it's actually more enjoyable for me to read. a trade paperback.
Okay.
Actually, if you want a crazy fucking trade paperback, get Alex Ross's The Marvels. I have it over here. It's like this big. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I was like, that's obnoxious, right? That's who needs a fucking comic book this big? It matters. Size matters with this. Dude, when you open up a comic book and Alex Ross's art is staring at you in the face and it covers your entire peripheral vision,
Yeah.
it makes a difference. And it's
Wait,
amazing.
How do you read books? What was that? It covers
What do
your
you mean?
entire. Hold on.
No,
Hold on.
dude, I'll get it. Well, I'll get it in a second, but it's a trade paperback and it's about this big.
What do you like?
It's massive, dude. No, it's massive. You don't have to be that close to it. You can be this far away, open it up, and dude, it's just the spread on it. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But for a typical run, let's say a modern run or any run really, I'd rather have the trade paperback that I could go in and read at any point. But I would want high grade copies of the key issues that I can grade and keep for like historical preservation value purposes for my own enjoyment in that sense too. So a perfect example, or this is kind of what I'm talking about, but slightly different, right? So right now I'm trying to decide what books I'm going to send to Chris Claremont, right, to get signed.
Ooh.
And so what I picked,
Hey, tell
was this.
Make it. Tell people who Chris Claremont is. It's important to know who Chris Claremont is.
So Chris Claremont basically revived the entire X-Men franchise. X-Men up to I think issue 50 or 60 went pretty much back to just reprints and didn't get revived until GSX Giant Size X-Men #1. And his story was so compelling, and the new characters he created, the new X-Men team, Colossus, Nightcrawler, were so good that they implemented them back into the X-Men title and started printing out stories after that. So Chris Claremont is the reason why the X-Men is the X-Men up to this point in time is because of Chris Claremont and his writing. He brought a very realistic writing style to comic books that was different than like the Green Lantern and the Green Arrow stuff that was coming out about like drug use and the early Bronze Age stuff. His was like on the same route, but more relatable because not everybody was like hooked on meth or drugs, right? Like some people were and they found that relatable. But Chris Claremont really brought that. Chris Claremont really brought that to the X-Men. So there it is right there.
That's it right there. That's it right there.
One day.
No,
so anyway,
Johnny,
so Chris
no.
Claremont's what?
I'm not trying to discourage you. Go get that thing.
Yeah. So basically, he's doing a signing at CGC, and look, I'm not one of these like signing whores where I'm just like, oh, everything needs to be signed. I love getting iconic pieces of either art or stories signed by the artist or the writer. So what I was gonna send to Chris Claremont, I was gonna send one of these. This is Iron Fist 14, right? First appearance of Sabretooth.
You gotta tell them where you got that, John.
I got that at a. It's in the YouTube archive of. I got that at a
dead person's house.
Estate sale. Yeah. And then I'm getting this signed. This is not a huge key book in this run, but he's gonna do a remark right there and a signature.
Claremont? No, who's it? Frank Miller, huh?
No, Claremont.
What? Why?
Claremont.
That's not that Frank Miller.
He does a snicket. Both of them. Well, Claremont was the writer, but Frank Miller did the art. But Chris Claremont does a snicket, SNIKT, right? Wolverine's noise when his claws.
Yeah.
He does that. He's actually a decent artist. Like he can do a couple little things. Mm-hmm. And he's actually I'm gonna get him to do that in that book. And then, dude, I pulled up this book. There's a big thank you to Rob Fanguy because got this book from him in the collection. Fangy.
That was
X-Men
Fangy's
94.
collection?
That was Fangy's collection, dude. So look, but let me tell you, this is not going to get slabbed. I'm keeping this in this Mylar, and it's going to sit on the shelf, and because one, it's low grade. It's got a big tear in the back of it, okay? So it's probably going to grade at like a 2.5 or a 3.0. So I'm not going to me, it's not something, if I want a reader copy of something, that's the reader copy. If I get another higher grade copy one day, then that's great. Okay. But dude, I was looking at that book outside of the bag. I read that book like in its truest form, like something I'm happy that I was able to do. I don't.
Did it smell like cigarettes?
No, it smelled like fucking old comic books. And
That's what you smell like, Rob. That's what you smell like. Sorry.
all y'all know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Old comic books.
Hmm.
But dude, and I made a decision. And I was like, look, this is not worth encapsulating. I don't want this. I want to be able to pop this thing up and open it at any point,
Yeah.
whenever I want to, you know?
Hmm.
So that's just how I like to kind of collect. Rob Fanguy, I think you got the wrong guy. Maybe so. Rob Fanguy, maybe.
No, no, no.
Oh shit! No, you're right. No, this is the wrong guy. I have the wrong fan guy.
No. Sorry. What?
Is it?
Why'd you give Rob that kind of credit? So look,
I don't know.
real quick, before you
What's
run
up?
away. So this is important. This is important. Hold on here. Wait, where to go? Where to go? Where to go? Where to go?
What?
We got to go right back here because this is important right here. So Citizen Jamie says,
Yeah,
when
Jamie,
you go
what's up?
buying, do you focus on specific characters, artists, writers, Marvel, DC, etc., or do you shop for all of it? Any and all of it, I guess he said. I can't see right there, but okay. Let me go first. All right.
Please.
Okay. So I read a lot. So what happens is I will come across a brand new character and I'll really like them. And what happens is when I see a character I like a lot, I will then be like, "Oh, what is their first book?" You know, like, and then I'll go find it. And if I can get it, I'll get it. If it's financially viable, I'll get it. That is absolutely the same with to a very small extent writers, very big extent artists. You know, like there's an artist I'm on right now. Her name is Maria Hill, and she's fucking amazing. I've showed some art on here before of hers, but I can't get her first comic book from Marvel because it's really expensive. But even her regular prints, her trades are expensive as well. But characters, yes, I will like a character and then I'll go find a book they're in. There's a character called Solem or Solem, Solem, and he's in Wolverine. And his first book was Wolverine 3. And I read it online and I was like, this guy's fucking cool. And I went online, I found the book for like $5 and I bought it and I love it. I love the fact that I have it. I have a bunch of first appearances like that. And they're not worth anything, but I like them. And I will actually go back and look at them and be like, this is when this person first appeared. You know, it's cool.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I will not buy any and all of it. Sometimes I can be tricked by certain characters. Again, I'll get tricked by Magic or Mr. Sinister. Anything that has like them on the cover, I tend to buy them. But I kind of like I don't buy all of it, but I will tend to lean towards them if I see them. Yes. So, but yeah, I go by characters. I don't discriminate between DC or Marvel. I mean, I lean more towards Marvel, but artists, writers, characters. That's what makes collecting fun, is trying to find these key moments that you really liked and getting them, corralling them and getting them into your house and looking at them. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. Yeah. For me, Jamie, it literally all depends. I can say on the modern portion of it, I am not a huge modern comic buyer. I do not do New Comic Book Wednesday for the most part, just because, man, I'm trying to play catch up. Like, I want to read. There's so many iconic storylines that I need to read, and I like, for instance, I just finished Flashpoint, which is great. Are you familiar with Flashpoint?
When did that come out? I might be reading the wrong one.
I want to say that was right before the New 52. When did New 52 come out? It was literally caused the New 52. So maybe 2000, mid 2000s.
I really want to know what all that's about. I actually went back and I'm trying to slowly watch that Flash show on the CW. I'm still in the first season because there's like 40 episodes of the first season. But
yeah,
the whole Flashpoint, the whole New 50. I want to know about it. I feel like it's a cool idea.
Dude, it is really fucking cool. So I know, and the way I try to digest all of this comic history in such a short amount of time is I do the equivalent of like audiobooks. So I'll find there's a couple of YouTube channels that I listen to, and they really do a great job of breaking down multiple issues. They're like a trade paperback, but in video form, and they'll break down multiple issues of what's going on, the dialogue.
It's like video cliff notes or something.
Kind of, but way more in detail. But like way more detailed. And so I just finished Flashpoint. Dude, let me tell you, that is a great story that I still want to go back and fully read every single word of. And the reason why I do that too is because I'm thinking of, like, for instance, the stories that I have read, right, from start 14, 20 issue runs. All I remember is the big plot points. All I remember is the big things, right? You don't hang on to every single little bit of information. So if I can get that in a streamlined form, I love it, man. And I still have an emotional response by the end of this person's video when the climax is happening. And I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, that's pretty intense, you know? Flashpoint's amazing.
Johnny and your words.
Let me
Intense
say,
climax. Fucking teenager.
yeah. let me say Flashpoint. If anybody knows the alternate reality that happens with Bruce Wayne's parents, spoiler alert, if you never read Flashpoint.
I know.
What is it?
I know. So the mother, Bruce dies and Martha dies and the dad stays alive and he becomes like a heavy drinking Batman kind of guy, huh? No. That's what I'm saying. Am I reading the wrong Flashpoint? Or is that non-point?
No, you're close, but that's not exactly what happens. So spoiler alert, if you haven't read Flashpoint yet, basically takes place in an alternate reality where in the alleyway, Joe Chill kills Bruce Wayne, Thomas Wayne and Martha Wayne survive. Okay?
Oh.
Thomas Wayne
goes on to become
Thomas Wayne goes on to become Batman, but he is a ruthless killing Batman. He does not have the empathy that Bruce does. Okay, so he's like somebody, like, if he's interrogating
and he drinks a
somebody, yeah, he does. But yeah, I knew that. But if he's interrogating somebody and they don't have the answer, he literally would just hurl them off a roof.
Oh, fuck. Okay, cool. He's the killing Batman.
But he is the killing Batman. Still totes a gun, just like how Batman started when Bob Kane wrote him.
Mm-hmm.
But the kicker is Martha Wayne is the motherfucking Joker. Dude, it is so good. It is so good. Like,
that's the one you shouldn't have said. That's the thing you shouldn't have said. You could have said everything. Now I don't need to read it.
It's not even a big. No. It's not even, dude.
Hey,
it is a blip.
I see dead people.
It's a blip in the entire. No. It's a blip. It is a blip in the entire storyline of Flashpoint. It has nothing to do with the end result of Flashpoint. All it is a subplot, right? It's all it is the setting of where the Flash takes, or where Flashpoint takes place. It takes place in a time where Bruce Wayne or Thomas Wayne is Batman and Martha Wayne is the fucking Joker. But it's crazy because it's how the two parents deal with the death of their son. It's fucking amazing. Like how one goes this way and then the other one goes to complete insanity.
Do they stay together? Are they still married? They just lead separate lives?
No, it's like they're separate. No, they're completely separated.
Dear, what did you do today? Nothing. What did you do today, honey? Nothing. Just did millionaire stuff.
So it's so dark and twisted, dude. I love it. It is so dark.
So here's the deal.
So dark and twisted.
Yeah. I don't know. So I read for DC and other things like that. I read either freecomicsonline.com, not a plug, but go there. I also will read from Hoopla, which is your local library's application on your phone, and that's awesome too. I have no idea where to start. Like if you look up Flashpoint or whatever like that, dude, it's going to be like 8 million variations of whatever that book is you're trying to tell me, and I'll never catch the right one. Like
Flash Rebirth. I think it starts at Rebirth. Flash Rebirth, and then that spawns the Flashpoint. I'm not well versed.
Like, I don't know. I don't know how to start. I don't know where to start. I'm a person who needs to start at the beginning.
Great. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'd like to know where I need to start. Like the whole 52 and DC is like, oh shit, we're gonna just reboot everybody because maybe our shit's kind of lame. I wouldn't know where to start with that either. I mean,
yeah.
But I was certainly collecting all the lenticulars, in a box over here. But I wouldn't know what to do. What's up, Gino? By the way, I just see how Gino. What's happening? Gino,
what's going on?
I wouldn't know where to start. That's kind of frustrating because, like, I will be honest with you, I'm not going to go out and like spend my money guessing where I'm supposed to start. I need some definitives, it's like,
and I think that's a big problem that a lot of people just getting into comic collecting period have, whether they're getting back into it, where to start. Dude, you've got 100 years of fucking content, like of stories, depending on not 100 years. But if you're looking at like super, like
1,000.
fucking Action Comics 1, you know, like kind of almost 100 years, but you've got decades upon decades of content, retcon things, characters. So it's extremely sloppy. It's extremely sloppy,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
why I'm taking the most simplistic approach, and I'm like, okay, what are the most iconic storylines? Frank Miller's Dark Knight run, Chris Claremont's X-Men. You know, for DC, Flashpoint, Infinite Crisis. I want to read all of the. I want to do my due diligence and read. Okay, why is this hobby so crazy in the first place? It's because of these storylines. So that's the process of what I'm going through right now. And then let's see. The next thing we could probably touch on is when you're first getting into the hobby. Research. Absolutely 100% you need to do your research, because this is going to keep you from getting burned and wasting money. You can lose a lot of money this way. How we doing, Kev? You doing good?
Yeah.
No.
I'm supposed to dye the kiddo's hair tonight, and
Oh no. Okay. That's cool.
I got a little more time.
But okay. So no, I was just saying, like, this is another big part of just kind of getting to the hobby. Do your research. Anybody that says Key Collector Comics that hates on it, if anybody hates on here, I'm sorry, it's not the smartest decision that you can make. People hate on Key Collector Comics, dude.
Listen, real quick. I'm going to cut you off because you're doing something good here, and I like your little slide.
No.
But people hate on Key Collector because they're trying to beat the system. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You're like they're trying to make money on comics and things like that. And like, if you're a collector and you're just trying to enjoy the hobby, Key Collector is wonderful. But if you think you're going to go on Key Collector and look at their picks and their like hot spec books and beat the system, when they hit enter on Key Collector and the whole world can get it all at once, you know, like you're not beating anything, and they're all getting the whole same prices and things like that. Go for Key Collector because you're looking for books to read and find the ones that you want. That's it. Don't try and beat the system.
Now here's the thing. Well, I'm not talking about beating the system, but I'm talking about knowing what books matter, not for speculation purposes, not for future purposes, for past purposes. So, for instance, when the hobby was super young, people would read the Overstreet Price Guide. This is way before I came into the fucking picture. Overstreet Price Guide was your go-to. So if somebody was sitting at a Comic-Con, reading the Overstreet Price Guide, studying it, saying, okay, this is the first appearance of so-and-so, this book is worth so much, right? Would anybody judge them in any sense of the way? Because they're reading an Overstreet Price Guide. Nobody would say nothing.
No, I guess you're right. Well, it's because it wasn't so instantaneously accessible. It wasn't just like
exactly.
You know, you like now you had to like go find the Overstreet and look at the price and then go find the book. Now it's like click, click, and everybody can get so damn mad, you know. But
here's the problem with Key Collector is it's such a big platform to deliver information on. It's giving us so much information. If you go on Key Collector, you can type in keys from the 1970s. You can type in red covers. Dude, this is so much more detailed than any previous Beckett or pricing guide that's ever came out in the past. And so people shit on it because it's presented in the form of technology. And dude, if you're not on your spare time, like if you want to learn about comics and the hobby and what issues are important,
right?
Just scroll through Key Collector and start reading, because is there some things that they have that they don't get right? Absolutely.
Sure.
But do you know how much that's going to be every single freaking company? That's going to be every single type of media, everything.
And also, it's also important to understand, and this is like the weird thing in life, that people think that like, okay, people think that they are owed something. Like Key Collector is a app that's trying to make money. So they're not altruistically creating content. I mean, listen, like, don't be a schmuck. All right. Like, don't be a schmuck. Don't go on Key Collector and like, well, this said it was going to be this much money and it's not this much money. I spent $100 on a book and now it's only worth 20. That's on you, motherfucker. You know, like learn how to spend your money. Like, don't be a schmuck.
Right.
Like, look at Key Collector. Key Collector's trying to make money. They make a small amount of money on anything you buy on eBay from their buttons. You know, that's how they make money. They make $3 a month on me, you know? So don't be silly, you know, like, but Key Collector is wonderful. You're right, you know, but if you're,
no, it is. And it's like, for instance, like if you want to know about comic history, right? Like the first comics that were ever produced. Fun Comics #1, the first like American comic that was published. Like it will tell you starting at
That's
Fun
true.
Comics #1. Yeah. It will tell you starting at that all the way up to so and so of like what were the first comics on newsstands. That has nothing to do with speculation. That's not speculation. These books are 100 years old. They're not trying
Yeah.
to spec on anything. They're providing information about the history of the hobby. And
Hmm.
it's like if you're not utilizing that and reading that in the fucking toilet, you are denying yourself tons of ammo because when you are out there digging through long boxes, our Rolodex in the back of our heads of these key books is our ammo. It's how we capitalize on the hobby is by knowing what to look for, knowing what to put aside.
Yeah.
And if you're not studying Key Collector, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're trying to grow your collection in a value
Right.
type of way.
Or if you're trying to, okay, so look, like the reality is like I'll read a book, I'll see a cool character. I'm going to go to
Yeah.
Key Collector to find out where they first appeared, you know, and if it's a value to me.
Yeah.
If the book
Yeah.
is a minor character and the book is like $80, I'm not going to buy it. I'll be like, hey, cool, maybe I'll come across it, whatever.
Right.
But I'm not going to buy it.
Right.
But there's been so many times that I've been sitting there, maybe on the toilet, maybe not, who knows. I'm like, oh shit, you know, like this character's their first appearance is a $3 book, and I'm like, guess what, dude? Over to eBay. Oh, look, it's 99 cents on eBay. Oh, $5 shipping. Guess what? Boom, boom, done. 5 days later, I get this cool book in my hand. I'm like, fuck, there it is. That's fucking cool. You know, or you'll read, I think it's Young Avengers #8. I mean, it's a book I'm actually looking for. It's a nothing book. You know, it's a nothing book, but I'm not going to buy it on eBay for $7. But if I come across it, there's nothing special to it at all other than it's just a really cool book. But I mean, I found out. Go ahead.
You're looking for that book?
Oh, do you have it in your possession right now?
Yeah.
Let's see it. It's
You
got
have
it's
it.
got it's got America Chavez on the cover.
It's somewhere. I think it's somewhere in the it's
It's
somewhere in the boxes.
listen, when you get, and this is two comic collectors talking right now. Let me tell you, you
Mm-hmm.
don't even need to read you don't have to know what's going on in the story to read. Just read the book. The art is fucking cool as hell, and that's why I want it, just because the story is cool, but the art, what they do in the art is so amazing. So that kind of goes back to Jamie's thing, where Jamie's talking about the art and things like that. But I mean, like I said, it should be like it should bring you joy. If collecting comics makes you mad, you're doing it wrong. You know, like if you're spending all your money and you can't even eat ramen noodles, then you're doing it wrong. You know, there's got to be a give and a take to it where it makes sense for you, and you're not like, you know, hurting yourself by it. And like I said, the problem is that people who are buying these books and flipping these books, these are people who sell comics for a living. You know, so it's like when you're at your job, you don't let people beat you out. You know, so it's like when you're trying to beat comic book sellers, professional comic book sellers, it's impossible. When you go on Whatnot, because I think everybody here has been on Whatnot at least once. When you go on Whatnot, you're going to go into some of these rooms where these guys have like 200, or girls have these 200 people in there, and look, 100% they're selling shit. They're selling shiny shit with books that have no good stories and make no sense. But I sit back and I'll go like, you know, good for you. You're making money doing what you want to do. And people are buying it, you know, like, and part of it's jealousy because I don't have that many people in my room, but it's also because I don't have these weird, trumped up, bizarre books that they're selling that have nothing going on for them. But that's how they're making their money. And I'm not mad at them. It's whatever. I mean, I would be mad at myself if, like, while I watch their show, they're slowly hacking into my bank account, you know, and stealing my money just because I'm watching it. I'd be mad about that. But I see some of these books of these like women books that are naked on the front going for $300 and $400. I'm not mad at the people selling it. I'm not mad at the people who are buying it. That's what they want to do with their income. They have to just deal with, you know, the mirror on their own time. But as far as me, I mean, I've bought some books to sell sometimes, and sometimes I've got a good deal, and that's fine because like I try and sell books to offset the amount of money that I spend on books every Wednesday, you know. And so I look for a good deal and I sell them when I can, but I'm not gouging people. But even if I was, I mean, whatever. I mean, that's what I'm doing. And some of these people do gouge and don't spend the money, you know, or if you're going to spend the money, maybe go to Key Collector and see how much a book is actually worth before you fucking buy it. You know, like,
well, no, hold on. Well, don't, I wouldn't go to Key Collector for price determining.
Cover price.
Cover price is great. Go Collect is really good as well. But Key Collector I use for like informational purposes, like first appearance.
Right, you're right.
but I get exactly what you're saying.
You're not going to win.
And then the other thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Other thing obviously is grading, right? Grading is a huge part. And I've learned, and I thought I knew how to grade, and I still don't know how to grade. And I've read this fucking book here given by CGC. Dude, this will teach you a lot. Definitely learn how to grade your books, because there are times where I've bought in the past books that I thought was one grade, and because I wasn't as well versed, I spent too much money on it, period. So grading is obviously important. And then obviously the reprint stuff, like know what you're doing as far as reprint goes. It's easy right now. I think it's a cash grab that they're making these books so much like the original covers to sell more books.
Watch your barcodes.
Dude, barcodes. Let me tell you also, with the Ultimate Fallout 4 reprint, so you got the barcode is a different size. You got the red logo behind the Marvel. It's also the Ultimate Fallout 4 reprint is greener than
is it?
Than the I put them next to each other. Is definitely greener than, not that's something you can tell, like just look at the Marvel logo if if you're trying to spot
Ultimate Fallout 4 real quick. And actually, John, I got to go in a minute here, but Ultimate Fallout 4 is the first appearance of Miles Morales.
Yes.
If you don't know, for people who are in here who don't know, Miles Morales is definitely the next phase for Marvel. They're putting a lot on this little kid. Is he Jersey? I can't remember if he's in Jersey, but he's going to be the next Spider-Man. He is the next Spider-Man, honestly. But Marvel's putting a lot on him to be a huge cash cow for them. So anything that has Miles Morales' first books, they're all super expensive. Look, Miles Morales is a very cool character. He's got that Into the Spider-Verse coming out, the second one that he's in as well.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah. So the Ultimate Fallout 4 is his first appearance. And look, I'll be honest with you, and I know you have a copy, John, and it's great. But as a reader, I'll tell you that Ultimate Fallout 4 is terrible. It's a terrible read. Miles Morales is in 3 pages of it. And he's basically hiding behind a car, like wondering what he should do, and then it's over with. The Ultimate Fallout is just a previews book, essentially, for a few different things. But yet that book is how much?
Who knows now?
It's a lot.
It changed. Well, it's a lot, but it's fucking it's plummeted so hard.
That's because the industry's taking a hit.
I'm going to start doing, if anybody is interested, if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe. Like the video, thumbs up, all that crap. But I'm going to start I'm going to use Melon to do a stream of me doing what I do on a normal basis, which is search eBay and do my own kind of like market report deal. And so basically I'll just search eBay for like crazy sales of high comic book sales or super low comic book sales of books that have crashed. And I'm going to edit them into a video for someone of like a Paper Chase market report. So those will start popping up soon enough on the channel.
Yeah.
Because I do that shit anyway, dude. Just,
Yeah, you do. You send me the analytics. Look, everybody, I don't mean to be rude, but I've got to be a good dad. I'm going to go dye my kid's hair. She wants it red, and we got to get it knocked out because it's school early tomorrow. Anyway, all the love. Everybody, appreciate you guys. And like and subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and YouTube stuff, blah, 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 blah. All the love. See you guys next week, okay?
Later.
Bye, y'all. Later, y'all. Bye.
Later, Rev. All right, guys, and that is pretty much going to do it for me. Also, I think we've kind of said our piece on all this. There will be more detailed videos to come on the entire collecting hobby and how to maximize it and do well with it in the future. But for the most part, I think that's what we all wanted to say. Me and Rev just kind of wanted to hang out and talk about this because we don't get to do that too much. But I want to thank every single one of you guys for coming in tonight. I really appreciate it. Go ahead and do all the follows and stuff like that. Instagram, eBay. I think I'm going to be doing a sale on Instagram coming up this week. So probably Wednesday or Thursday of this upcoming week. It's going to be a post-claim sale where I just post photos of books on Instagram and you guys can claim them in the comments. A lot of Italian Spider-Man books that I want to kind of move. So that should be pretty cool. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Appreciate you stopping in and stay tuned for the next video. Have a good weekend.